Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someone said they use HubSpot. I think that yeah, that was about a CRM. So yeah, I've never heard of that, but yeah, any CRM is better than no CRM. They're all a lot of them are the same. We've gone back and forth, so
Yeah.
we're kind of all at one now. We might be different in 6 months.
No,
Um,
I'm not changing.
yeah, I would say stick with one, unless you are sure it's gonna be a better opportunity. Mike, I'll let you answer this one. Apart from Google Voice, what tool do you use for cold calling? I'll say we don't use Google Voice for cold calling. Really, you can. That's if you're hand dialing. I use Google Voice for Bandit signs, so people call me off a different number. But there's a couple other systems we use for cold calling. Mike, you can go over those.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with starting out cold calling using your a Google Voice number, right? I mean, like for instance, I moved up to Michigan from Alabama. All I had was an Alabama number. So I needed to get me a 989 number because I lived in Saginaw. So for the first almost basically a year of my business, I was cold calling off of a Google Voice number. Now that allows you to now have a second number, right? Like a work number. Now you're not advertising your personal number to everyone you're talking to. But as far as like a system to put in place, I mean that's kind of what we touched on earlier. There's these dialers out there, right? If you're going to commit the time to and do, because again, guys, with all these lead generation and forms of marketing, they all work, but it all just boils down to consistency, right? So if you're going to choose to be consistent cold calling, then you better just go spend the bucks or squat up and split it with somebody on a dialer. And again, these dialer systems, instead of you having to key in every single number, they'll dial for you. And there's dialers that will give you the phone numbers, so you don't have to have a Google Voice number. You can have an 810 number, a 989 number, and just order directly from the dialer. So there's plenty of them out there. And just like with a CRM, you're going to spend about $100 a month pretty much on any dialer out there. So, and they all work. So
Yeah.
and don't.
Would you say Mojo is the easiest to get started with? Like, is that what you
Yeah,
recommend for?
yeah, totally. So Mojo for sure, starting out, you can't go wrong with. um but Mojo is one of those that if you don't have like a local number, you're gonna have to, say you were in my situation, right? I needed to get a 989 number for Mojo because it automatically links to that phone number. So it'll, if you need that local area code, you're gonna have to get the Google Voice number to link to Mojo. But that's a great one to start out with. It's super user friendly. And you can definitely churn through calling leads. So yeah, it's a great one to start with for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, cold calling, prop stream, and Mojo, and then you use batch skip tracing to skip trace. Those are really the only three things you need to start cold calling. You don't even need those, but if you have the money to spend a couple $100 a month on systems, that's what we all use. Um, so when is the best time to call? So I found that late at night is the best time to call. A lot of big companies say like in the morning. That's what I was hearing. But
Every
at least in
time.
Flint, I mean, honestly, anytime, whenever you're available, we call all day, and I don't even think about it anymore. But if you did, if you work a 9 to 5, 6 to 9 at night is going to be amazing. People are home from work, especially like in Flint. Like people tend to stay up later and get up later, so it's great at night. It's where people are literally answering the phones constantly. When you're on a dialer, you hang up one person and boom, hello, like you're talking to people all the time. But I mean
I,
whenever, really whenever.
I'll be honest. Most of my appointments are the initial contact is made like made in the middle of the day. So don't be afraid to call at 10, 11, 12. Especially right now with the whole COVID situation and people might be home
Yep.
more and this, that, and the third. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, that's why calling through a list multiple times is great, because you might not have, that person might not have been available the first time around when you called, but you call them that second time and that third time, and now you're catching them when maybe they're home from work, or you're calling them in the evening time. So, but yeah, don't be afraid to to call all day, because certain people pick up their phones different time of day. I mean, you'll talk to people either way. So
Yeah. I mean, people work first, second, third shift, so no matter what time you're calling, you're going to be hitting people. And Mike's always on the phone. It's not like I get into the office and from 10 to 12 in the morning, he's just sitting there. Like, it's always the same all day. From what I see. So, let's see. Lucy says everyone should read the book 3 Feet from Gold. I've never heard that book, heard of it. I'm assuming it's like what Mike was saying. Lucy, are you on here still? I don't know if Lucy's still on here, but like you're one phone call away from possibly $5,000. And if you keep that in your mind, then when you want to get off an hour early, like it's literally one phone call could make you $5,000. So, I mean, just keep that in your mind. Read that book if you want to. I'm sure it's good. So, does a dialer cost money? Yeah, $150, between $100 and $150 a month for Mojo. So with Mojo, you can get a single line dialer, which will call one person at a time, for $100 a month, or you can get a triple line dialer that will call 3 people at a time for $50 for $150 a month. You're talking to 3 times more people for 50% extra. So I would say it's worth it if you have the money. 100%. Get a triple line if you have the money.
Maybe in the beginning you get one line, get used to it, learn how it works, and then a couple weeks later, nail it.
It just depends on your budget. And with the triple line, you can change it between 1, 2, and 3 lines, depending on whatever you're feeling. So let me see. Best way to build buyers list. Like I said, the 20th we're gonna get a guest speaker on that's insane with selling deals too. So that would be awesome. See if we have any other questions. So Christian said, is it okay if I contact you after this call to talk about what you use on PropStream to find motivated sellers? Contact me, Todd, or Mike anytime, any day with any question. Like seriously, we all put our cell phone numbers up top. Just text us, call us. Usually we're always on the phone. We might have to hang up mid phone call. Just understand that. But yeah, seriously, call me anytime. Totally.
With PropStream, call Mike or Carson, not me, because I don't use it.
Yeah.
Got you. Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah.
Christian, maybe you can make phone calls from Dallas to Flint or Detroit. We could do some Zoom meetings or something.
You're in Dallas?
Yeah, I am. Are you talking about virtually wholesaling in Detroit?
Yeah, making calls for us on our list.
Oh, okay.
We'll run the calls, and we could work something out where it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep in contact after this call. We can talk more about that on the email.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've closed deals. I close my Detroit deals virtually. I'm in Flint, so I close them and I never see them. It's the same thing for you. If you're 10 minutes away and you never see the house, it's just as hard as it is for you in Dallas. So, and it's super easy actually.
And that's most likely going to be the 75-25, right? Just like you and Todd.
Probably.
It just depends, man.
Yeah.
It just depends. It's never black and white. A lot of times it's 50-50. Like if we're paying for your dialer, paying for your list, obviously we have to take that into consideration. But if we can set it up to be 50-50, we usually like to. That's what we usually do. So it just depends, man. But it's situational. Just give us a call. We'll figure it out.
Cool.
Hey Carson, do we have a Facebook group page now?
No, we don't, man. I forgot to make that. We will soon before next meeting. Yeah, I'm gonna create a Facebook group called Wholesaling Michigan After Hours, which is the same name as on this picture. And I'm gonna post a link to the Zoom every week as well as a topic, if we're having a guest speaker or anything like that. And then what we're gonna do is you can post your question. And I have a page right now, so you can go to the page and like it and make me feel good about it. But I wouldn't even bother. We're gonna create a group so you can go into that group, join the group, and ask any question you want. Anybody in the group can answer that question. And me, Todd, and Mike will all be in there. So throughout the week, if you have a question, like let's say tomorrow you're ordering Bandit signs and you forgot the name of the website, you can just watch this video again or just literally type the question in there. We'll all get notified that you posted and we'll answer it when we can. So that's going to be awesome. I'm super pumped. I got to get that made. It'll be made by next meeting for sure. And then, like I said, you'll be updated with this meetup, and we'll start doing like in-person meetups and giveaways and just as much fun stuff as we can.
Did you just say you have a personal page?
Say that again.
Did you just say you had a personal page on Facebook?
Well, I have a personal page, yeah. But we have a group page called Michigan Wholesale After Hours, but it's not a group. It's just a page.
Okay.
So we want to create a group so that you guys can join it. Because right now I meant to, but I actually did a page. So you just go there and like it, but it's not. It doesn't mean anything. So I'll invite everyone on this call to that group once I create it too.
Gotcha.
But we'll talk about it next week.
So Todd, Mike, Carson, I set you up meetup sites in Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, Albuquerque, New Jersey. So you've got like a bunch of them out there with a lot of membership.
That's
They're all
how
getting invited to this meeting. That's why you're getting some out of state people. And we're glad you came on if you're out of state.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that. I was wondering, but that's awesome. And I mean, we call it Michigan because we're all from Michigan, but it's literally the same thing. And if you want to wholesale in Michigan, great. But it's all the same thing. Should I start an LLC? Is it a good idea to start an LLC? It's a good idea to start an LLC. I closed probably my first 20 deals before I had an LLC, all in my personal name. So it's just to create yourself a cover. So if you get sued, they're not going to come after your personal belongings. When I started, I had like $1,000 to my name, so I couldn't care less. But yeah, start an LLC. It costs $50. Go on lara.com. That's Michigan's place to start an LLC. Just Google it, how to start an LLC. Don't pay an attorney. In Michigan, at least, it's $50. It takes 30 minutes. So yeah, start an LLC. You don't need it though. Definitely don't need it.
Oh,
I close deals in my name all the time still.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What freeways can get you 5 deals a month? Cold calling, I would say, because you don't have to pay for those leads. It's not driving for dollars isn't really free because gas money. And I used to do this. I would drive for dollars with a sheet of paper, and I would like behold my steering wheel and write down addresses as I was driving, and then I would hand dial them. That's free. You could get a list from somewhere, partner up with somebody, have them give you a list. And that's honestly, that's majority of my free deals are boom. Look at Todd's face mask. That's free deals. I mean, I'm sure he didn't pay for that mask. He probably got it at a grocery store or something. I mean, there's a million ways to do it, just being out there. Like everyone who sees him is going to look at that mask. No one else writes on the masks. So
yeah,
I mean, Facebook is great. Craigslist, Zillow for sale by owners.
yeah.
But back to what I was gonna say, squatting up is the way I get my most free deals. Either like I'll send Todd a deal, he'll sell it for me. Todd just got a free deal. Todd will send me a deal, I'll sell it for him, or I'll work with a realtor. I work with a lot of realtors outside of Flint, and they'll send me deals in Flint, and I'll split my assignment fee with them just for sending me the deal. They send me a phone number and a name, and I call them when the deal's closed and say, look, you have a $4,000 check at the title company. And they love it. It's super worth it for them. That's a free deal for them. They just gave me the lead. It's a free deal for me. I give up 50% of the deal, but I don't care because it's a free deal. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to be greedy. I want that realtor to send me more deals. So there's a million different ways.
You could be 5 deals a month that you hustle yourself, 5 deals a month that you get like that. And before you know it, that could be a $50,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to spending money, none of us spend a lot of money on it. None of us spend a lot of money on it because you don't have to. But if you work a 9 to 5, you could probably drop 3,000. You could easily drop 3,000 a month in marketing and make 10,000 a month. Because that's a lot of marketing, like a lot of marketing in these markets. That's a good amount of money. You could easily make 10 grand a month off that 3,000. We just chose to do it the other way, and then we'll build off that. Once you start making the money, you can start adding money to your marketing.
Yeah, direct mail marketing is a different. It's not a class I'm going to teach. I'll tell you that. It's a different stream of getting the leads, but there's people out there that do it and they're really good at it. And you're always, but they're spending a lot of money doing it. I know guys that are spending 50 grand a month, and right now they're not doing it. They're doing different things. They're not direct mail. It's, so it's hot and cold. You got to know what you're doing. And, but,
Yeah. A law in Philadelphia got passed restricting wholesales. There's a law in Illinois that restricts, or Chicago, Illinois, that you can't wholesale without a realtor license. But how I feel about that, how we all feel about that, and our broker Marine is on here. We're getting licensed. So me and Todd are in the process of getting, or me and Mike are in the process of getting licensed because of this. So Illinois is not that far from Michigan, not that far from Philadelphia. Michigan's going to be one of the states that restricts wholesaling, I think, to people with their licenses. So get your license. And then that's I mean, it's under $1,000 in like every state to get your license.
it's
So
great.
we're taking the course right now.
I
So you
probably
think I
made,
should just wipe it out?
I
Just
would
it
get your
over with?
license. Yeah, 100%.
Gotcha.
and if you have
And-
your license, you have access to the MLS. There's all kinds of information you could get from the MLS that's going to help you in your wholesaling game. You could refer deals to other realtors to list, and you can make 25 to 50% of the commission. I probably made 40 grand last year just in traditional real estate deals, and this year
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot more. And I didn't
So
even try last year. So
Okay,
Like-
I'm gonna speak for just a second, Carson, since you brought me
Sure.
up. All right,
Go
so
for
just make sure that when you're getting licensed, that you're finding yourself an investor-friendly broker. So there are a lot of different brokerages out there who have different models, and some like investors as their agents and some don't. So just make sure you do your homework, do your research before you get yourself locked into a contract.
most do not.
yeah.
Most do not. Find out, talk to the other wholesalers. Don't just join someone and say, and try to hide it or anything like that. Have that conversation with them and say, can I wholesale? If they don't know what you're talking about, that answer is going to be no. All right.
And
Yeah.
or look for a villa brokerage in your state. Most of our brokers that run these offices know all about wholesaling, as well as welcome the opportunity to work with investor agents.
Yeah. Yeah. Like she was saying, not just are okay with it, will welcome it and help you with it. And not expect when you go do a deal to give them 30% of every single deal you do. Unless you're working a deal with them. But that was exactly what I was going to say, Marine, is get a broker that's investor friendly. Because I know agents who want to get into wholesaling, but are scared because they don't know how their broker is going to react, or their broker doesn't know what it is. They think it's illegal. So that's the last thing you want to do. You don't want to hide it from them. And then just real quick, because Todd mentioned it, you can't technically get a referral fee from an agent unless you're licensed. Like as an agent, you're not allowed to pay out unlicensed people for referral fees. So like if you're sending agents deals to list, they can't legally pay you for those leads unless you're licensed. So,
All right.
and you can make
Leave it at that.
50.
Leave it at that. Don't say anything I don't know what you're
Yeah.
going to say, but
No. I'm just saying
Dream.
you're missing out on a ton of money because you can literally, like, the amount of retail leads we come across on a daily basis is crazy. If you get licensed and send those to an agent and say, hey, split your commission with me, I'm a licensed agent, give me 50% referral fee, you could make 50 grand a year just off that. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's see. But yeah, I would recommend getting licensed. It just makes the most sense. It protects you from if a law comes up or something. And MLS access is huge for running comps. So
yep. And then you can become bank owned certified, REO, or bank certified, REO certified, so there's deals there if you're a wholesaler or if you're an agent and other buyers that are on your buyers list that are buying those type of properties, you could sell it to them. So there's all kinds.
Yeah.
there's so many ways. I could probably sit down with you for an hour and think of 10 ways I forgot about. So of making money in real estate.
Well, and getting a real estate license, like you said, Todd. So when someone in your office has, let's say they've got an REO listing or they've got an investor listing and those calls start to come in, this is a way for you to develop your buyers list as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just networking. Now you're connected with a bunch of other agents and this broker who all do investing because you hung your license with an investment broker. So yeah, there's just no reason not to do it.
Yep.
Let's see.
Mhm.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Todd, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it, and it's really not that expensive to get your license, and they're talking about making the classes longer, maybe a 6-month class, and cost more money, and what a pain in the butt that would be. So a 40-hour class that you could do from, watching it online on Zoom or something like that, or going to the office eventually, it's worth it. So anyway, that's enough.
Yep. Mike, question for you about PropStream. Can you use it for calling and skip tracing?
Good question. You can use it for skip tracing. It does not have like a built-in dialer of any kind. But with that, so it can be, like a one-stop shop. You can pull the list and you can get it skip trace through PropStream all on the same platform. But honestly, it's worth a little bit of time to export it out of PropStream, and you take the list directly out of PropStream and upload it to batch skip trace. And this is where you don't want to skimp on where you get your data from, whether that be your list data or your skip trace data. And I batch skip trace. I've tried other ones. I've tried PropStream before and other skip tracing providers. I really do think batch is kind of the king of it all. So that's my personal take on it. But hey, if you want to use the PropStream skip trace, go for it. I think it actually costs more than batch too. So
I think it's cheaper. I think it's like 10 to 12 cents a lead. But again, it's not worth it. It's not worth it unless you absolutely need to. But even still, your cost per actual real phone number you get might be the same as batch. So I would just go with batch. I have a grandfathered in price with batch. So their usual price is 20 cents a lead. I can get it for cheaper with batch. So reach out to me if you want it done cheaper, or you can just do it on their website. But I can get it done cheaper because I've been with them for so long. And then Todd already kind of touched on the question about mailers. We just haven't used it. I mean, we've all been able to pull deals out of such cheap marketing strategies. It just doesn't, and there's still so much room to improve in those marketing strategies still. For us to start doing mailers, it just wouldn't make sense. But if you don't have a ton of time, I think mailers are great, and I do recommend them to certain people. I just don't know anything about them, so I'm not going to even say anything else. That's a good question, though. Let's see. How late can I call? What's the cutoff time so I don't get people annoyed? I mean, some people might get annoyed that you're calling them at 7:30 because they're older. So I don't call past 9 o'clock. And I don't call before 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, Mike, do you kind of follow the same guidelines?
yeah, that's by the rules, the TC, the rules, okay, the government regulation or whatever.
Okay.
You can't call later than 9, and you can't call before 8, right? So, which is reasonable, okay? So, but anywhere between then, you are technically, in line. So, have at it, guys. Just go for it. People are mad at you, that's fine, but I promise you'll come across those people late at night who could care less what time it is you're talking to them. So don't be afraid to call late.
Yep.
Yeah. You're like Mike is really quiet for some reason, Mike, but we still, I don't know, it just got kind of weird, but Ezekiel, Keller Williams, I mean, they might be an most brokers, it depends what you mean by investor friendly brokers. Like, and wholesale friendly and investor friendly is totally different things. So find a brokerage that is both, if you want to do wholesaling. If you don't ever want to do wholesaling, which I don't know why you wouldn't, then you can get one that's investor friendly. But I know somebody from Keller Williams who doesn't wholesale because they're scared of their broker, and I'm just gonna say that. So I'm not, and I guess Keller Williams has a bunch of different brokers or whatever. I just wouldn't, talk to a specific broker or person from Keller Williams that maybe wholesales or something, and ask them. But they're really standard. Like you see Keller Williams in every yard. You see Century 21. Those would be the Remax. Those would be the last people I call.
Well, and Carson, those are franchises, okay? And so those are independently owned and operated, but they do have, franchise agreements and they do have guidelines. So that's how their business is run.
Gotcha. Yep. Yeah, that would be the last broker if I'm doing wholesaling and investing, honestly.
Just go to Villa, guys. Go see Maureen at Villa. I'm getting my license. I live in freaking Saginaw, okay, which is like an hour and a half away from Maureen brokerage. But just because she's so awesome and so wholesaler friendly, investor friendly, and is gonna support you, it's worth it. So
well, and thank you so much, Michael, for that endorsement. And I'm gonna tell you that we've all been there. We've all had to start our career somewhere, and so we know what that's like to work with investors and make those cold calls, right? Real estate agents, that's what they do. They cold call. So it's no different. And to have that same mindset and somebody who's going to work with you, train you, and just teach you and guide you. That's the main thing. And so you want to find a broker who is of that same mindset. And because when you're licensed in a state, you're not limited to a specific area. So when you're licensed in a state, you can go to any broker and you can sell real estate within the state, no matter where.
Yeah. So you can almost find a mentor in a broker instead of one that you're hiding your wholesale business from.
Exactly.
Ezekiel, it's Batch Driven is a driving for dollars app, but they might be connected with Batch Skip Tracing. It's the same company, but for skip tracing, go to batchskiptracing.com, or like I said, message me. But it's gonna be the same thing at the end of the day. So yeah, Batch Driven is for driving for dollars. Batch Skip Tracing is a whole nother website. That's it. We're like 15 minutes over. We usually try to end at 9:30. I don't see any other questions. So do either of you guys have anything you guys want to end on?
Kill it, guys. It's a new year. There's no better time than to get into wholesaling and get into real estate. Now is the time. Just take action. You don't got to be perfect. Take imperfect action, consistent, imperfect action, guys. You will fall. You will mess up. Embarrassment is free, okay? So you can go and you can embarrass yourself. You can say the wrong things and you can look dumb, but that's how you're going to learn, guys. So just don't be afraid to get started. And like we talked about with these lead generation, techniques, just be consistent with them, guys, and you will see results. So, and we're here to help. So just, we're open doors. You can come into the office. Really, guys. So you got the resources and support out there. So there's no reason not to get into it. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Appreciate everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Next Wednesday, Carson, what are we talking about?
Next Wednesday is acquisition. So like once you generate the lead, how to talk to the seller, how to run the appointment. It's really just once you get those leads, how to turn those into deals. And then the next week's how to sell them. So next week is important if you started this week for sure.
Yeah. Maybe we could do one Zoom where we just call sellers. That'd be great. We could try to set it up. People could bring in, you might even be able to set up your sellers and say, look, is it okay? I got a meeting with my partner at 8:00 on Wednesday, blah, blah, blah. Is it okay if we call you together? Boom, boom, or something like that. I'd love to call some people and try to lock up some leads and some deals, I think.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Like it's a ton of fun. Once you start doing it and you're doing it with the right people, like it's a blast. And we might do that you might create a separate, once we get the Facebook group going, we might do like a different time for cold calling your leads or something. We might do that at like noon because 8's getting late. but you know, you can still call all 8 to 9. So yeah, we'll keep you posted. I got a picture of all your names, so I'll invite you to the Facebook group once I make it. And then other than that, have a good week, and we'll see you next week. So thanks for joining, everybody.
Thanks again, everyone.
Yeah, thanks again.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yep, thank you all.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, Michael, give me a holler. All right, brother?
Will do. Call now.
All right, bro.
Thanks.